Will SLP ever go back to 8 to 10 cents? This is a question that I will try to answer today by looking at some of the statistics and what needs to happen for SLP to reach that level. So for those of you that are just coming into the project, or for those of you that might not know what SLP actually is, let's get to the basics. SLP is a utility token that is used within the Axie Infinity game, and SLP is a token which has no max supply. It is operating with unlimited supply, hence why you don't see a number right here. What does that actually mean? That means SLP is only minted once you claim SLP from Axie Infinity, and it only gets burned when people breed within the game. That's the only two mechanics that impact the supply of SLP. Now, because the max supply is unlimited, you might be asking yourself a question: what is the total supply that we have right now? And on CoinMarketCap, that number says 5 billion, but that is very, very wrong, and don't get fooled by that number. Well, if you look at CoinGecko, on the other hand, CoinGecko says that the circulating supply for SLP is 37 billion, almost 37 billion. So why is there such a big discrepancy between these numbers? And that comes to a very simple thing of where do they take the data from. As you can see, CoinGecko is taking their data from Ronin Chain. That is where these numbers are coming from, and you can see the total supply being at 36.6 billion, whereas CoinMarketCap is taking their numbers from the Ethereum chain. And if you look at the SLP on Ethereum chain, you can see that it is 5.1 billion. So what we need to do is add both of these numbers together. So the current circulating supply of SLP is 41 billion. That's the number that we are working with, 41.7 billion to be exact, and that's the total circulating supply. I'm not sure why it says that way on both of these websites. It should be added together to make the total number. Now that we know how much SLP is in circulation, let's look at the SLP issuance chart and how much is getting burned and minted per day. Now, this graph does not look good, and it hasn't looked good for the last couple of months. So the SLP burn rate for February is standing anywhere between 10 and 20 million, whereas the mint is standing at 90 or 100 million every single day. These numbers used to be much bigger the months before, but with the launch of Season 20, Axie Infinity has decided to cut out SLP issuance from Adventure, so it's only in Arena right now, and you can see these numbers being at hundreds of millions before then. But with that, the burn has also decreased because people are not that keen to breed Axies anymore, and breeding Axies is the only burn mechanic that we have in the game. So now that we know how much SLP is in circulation, how much SLP is getting burned and minted a day, and what we need to figure out is how this number can be brought down so the burn has to outperform the mint for a certain period of time, and for that issuance to go down so we don't face hyperinflation and therefore SLP decreasing in value furthermore. Unfortunately, we already know that we're not gonna get any extra burn mechanics within this version of Axie Infinity, which is the version 2, the Axie Infinity as you know it now. Every single burn mechanic will be applied to Origin, which should be coming at the end of March, and with Origin there will also be coming new cards, which we already have seen a sneak peek of. These are the back cards. If you haven't seen them, they have already launched tail cards as well. Those cards are not final, so don't take them as an advice to buy some Axies, but these are the cards that we will be getting. So what does that mean? That means there will be a new meta. There will be a need for new Axies to be bred in order to take part in the leaderboards or to fight in tournaments as well. So there will be an incentive to breed more. Furthermore, there will also be eyes and ears parts. They've already said that. So that will be new sets of cards that people will be breeding towards, therefore increasing the burn. And they have also hinted at some extra burn mechanics. The one burn mechanic that I have mentioned is runes as well as charms. Now those will be applied to your Axies, and the way I'm seeing this right now is that your Axies will be able to wield those runes as charms if you upgrade them using SLP, and you can only use SLP that will be generated within the game. So you cannot purchase SLP outside of the game, put it into the game to max out your Axie. That's not the way how it's going to work. And what effect will that have on the economy? Well, it will be keeping more SLP within the ecosystem, and it will also encourage people to spend SLP within the game. That includes scholars as well, because they want to have access to better charms and to better runes. Right now, as it stands, there is no use of SLP for scholars, which make up 85 to 90% of the player base. So if they have no way to spend SLP, how is that SLP ever going to get lower in the supply number? It won't. So we need a burn mechanic that incentivizes people like the scholars to spend SLP within the game, and runes and charms will be one of the ways to do it. One more thing that Axie Infinity has said that they will do is incentivize people to have more Axies on their account by improving the energy system, which currently is not working very well. The way in which the current energy system works is that if you have 3 to 9 Axies, you get 20 energy. If you have 10 to 19 Axies, you get 40 energy, and if you have 20 Axies or above, you will get 60 energy. But that doesn't really make sense, because if you have 20 energy on 3 Axies, instead of having to purchase another 7 Axies, what you can use with those 7 Axies too is make another set of 2 teams and give them to your friends, and therefore in total you will have 60 energy for 9 Axies, rather than pushing yourself to 10 Axies and only having 40 energy. So that system never really made sense, and they need to improve it so it is more linear. And they already said that they are thinking of ways to improve the system, and one number that needs to be looked at is right here: number of Axies per holder. This graph is coming from Nansen, which has done an extensive research on Axie Infinity, and you can see that 85% of wallet holders within Axie Infinity are holding just 3 Axies. That means that they only have 1 team, and the rest of the people are holding 4 or above, which are usually breeders or guilds or people that are pushing themselves to 40 and 60 energy every single day. So people within the Axie Infinity ecosystem are currently not incentivized to have more than 3 Axies, which means that the floor Axies are dropping in value every single day on the marketplace, as far as $20 right now. So you can see that the current floor is sitting at $17, and there's 666,000 Axies listed for sale. But if you incentivize people to hold more than 3 Axies, then those floor ones will start getting picked up, and also people that are breeding will not be looking to immediately sell their Axies, because they can give them to the scholars to have more energy. And also, if there is a scholarship system within the game, so a scholar has his own wallet, and those 3 Axies from the guild gets put on their wallet in some magical way that Pegaxi has it sorted out, and then they are also incentivized to use their SLP to spend it on Axies to have more energy on their account, because currently it doesn't make sense for them to do that, because it's a different wallet to the one that they are playing from. Another way in which SLP can increase in price when Origin launches is the free-to-play mechanic. A lot more people will be able to test out the game, and if they test out the game, they will be looking to buy their own Axies if they like it. And as I have already mentioned, there's 660,000 Axies for sale, which means that if you need a set of 3 Axies for your team, we can only onboard about 100,000, maybe 200,000 people before the prices skyrocket. And if you think about all the content creators that will be pumping out content for Axie Infinity when it launches, marketing initiatives, whatever they have, onboarding 100 to 200,000 people shouldn't be that big of an issue, which will increase the price of floor Axies. Will that start burning more SLP through breeding? We will yet have to see and find out. I expect that they will do something about it when Origin launches, but that will not be on the launch per se, because they have already said that Origin will not have any monetary incentives when it launches. It will have an alpha season or a season 0. You can see that right here. There will be an alpha phase, and then there will be season 0 to test out all the mechanics that are within the game. So although Origin launches at the end of March, as they say, we still might have to wait until, let's say, summertime before there's actual proper launch of Origin that has all the things that we have just spoken about. And one last thing that I wanted to touch on is that the SLP that you currently make is on average, let's say 10 SLP per win if you hang it about the 1800 to 2000 MMR, which I expect a lot of people will, maybe the 15 as well. But let's say you have 20 energy right now and you make 100 SLP per day if you have 50% win rate at that level. So what you are making right now is about 1.8, maybe $2 per day. But if SLP goes to 8 to 10 cents, then that makes up to be $8 or $10, which is okay for the time that you spend playing the game, which at 20 energy right now, it's, let's say, 1 hour, 1 hour and a half, maybe somewhere around there. So for people in developing countries like the Philippines or Brazil or whatever Axie Infinity expands to next, that is a good incentive to play as well. Whereas at $2 that we have right now for the 20 energy, that is not that much of an incentive. So we will have to see whether SLP does increase to 8 to 10 cents. In my opinion, that is not backed up by any financial or economic knowledge that I have. I think that with the launch of Origin, if all the things that we have already spoken about today work together well and they have implemented them as they need to, then I see SLP still being at that level of, let's say, 7 to 10 cents, with the need to breed more Axies for Origin, to onboard more people, but also to figure out the new meta with eyes and ears coming into the play. So that's it for this video. Hopefully this video has brought you more knowledge on how SLP functions, what things need to happen for SLP to be brought up in price, as well as the circulating supply of SLP and the burn to mint ratio, and you have gathered a little bit more of a knowledge on how that thing works. And hopefully we will see SLP back at 36 cents one day. If you guys have any thoughts on how SLP will be functioning in the next couple of months, let me know in the comment section down below. If you have enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my YouTube channel for daily play and content, and I will see you in the next one.